Yeah, so Man City, basically, if you take out that Southampton game, they've been absolutely free scoring. They play Bournemouth at home next. I mean, Bournemouth only conceded once in the last two fixtures against Spurs and Leicester, but I think a lot of that personally is because Spurs and Leicester just haven't been that good since restart. Rotation is likely. FA Cup semi-final at the weekend, so they're going to play game week 36, and then we'll have to make our decisions for 37 before that FA Cup semi-final is played, which could be tricky. So it could be injuries, it could be rotation. It's going to be really hard to call. But whoever does start against Bournemouth, absolute hatful on the card, you'd think. And basically, is this the toughest game week for Pep Roulette so far? And as you can imagine, loads of questions like every week for Man City. Jurgen Rodgers, is it too risky to captain a Man City asset this week? Rishi, will Jesus start, given he has started the last five and is surely set to start in the FA Cup, he says. FPL Quinto, is it worth switching around Man City assets given the rotation? So using your transfers to switch between them, because a lot of people think the likes of David Silva and Foden will definitely play this week. And then Alangdran, for those three hitting in game week 36, who are the best three to bring in given rotation? So I'll start with you, Joe.
Okay.
I don't even know where to start. City in general, who have you got? What are your plans? And like this risk business, do you think it's too risky to bring in Man City players and captain them this week?
I'm personally not going to captain them because I think there's better options in terms of the risk of rotation and surety of starts. I think Pulisic could be good, better option. Danny Ings, indeed, but also Fernandes. I don't think you can just ignore Fernandes. And the only way to get points from him is to captain him. Which sounds weird. It's just the effective ownership so massive. But back to City, what have I got? I'm trying to remember. I've got KDB and Mahrez. So I can get another one, but I'm not sure I want KDB and Mahrez. So I'm not sure which ones I want. And whichever one I get out will no doubt score really well. But this is part of FPL. This is the one where you can do your research. You can analyse Pep's comments and you can look at the stats. And we've got on the screen at the moment the minutes of the players at the moment, where you can see that Mahrez, De Bruyne, Sterling, Jesus are the ones there, and David Silva's not far behind, and the other Silva, Bernardo Silva, and Foden are sort of a bit further behind there, but you can see who the main people are there. So this is the bit where it is luck. This isn't a bit where you can suddenly go, hey look, I got in this City player out of the myriad of options and they happen to score really well this week. Say for example you got Sterling this week. Say you got rid of Sterling for Mahrez or David Silva and then they score a hat-trick as well. That is going to be luck because you're not sure whether they're going to play. The skill is knowing that Sterling's completely on form and is more likely to play than the others. The luck element is, will they actually play? So it has to be an element of guesswork, and this has to be down to the FPL manager, whether your attitude to risk. So looking at those minutes and what Pep has to say, do have a look, listen to them, try and second guess it, but do not beat yourself up if you get it wrong and you see your City players on the bench, because all three City players you have could all be benched, they could all play, you just do not know. For me, I think KDB is indispensable because he's on penalties. And I think Man City, the way they attack, I think you want the guys on penalties. Mahrez, I'm not sure he's going to play this weekend. He's ticking along nicely, and I think I do want him. But the way my team is set up, the move I'm seriously considering is Mahrez out for David Silva and captaining him. Because I think out of all City assets, I think David Silva is the one that is going to play.
Was not expecting that.
A joke. Yeah, me neither.
Was not expecting that.
I know, I've shocked you. But this isn't, to me, that is not a maverick move. Because David Silva...
You said there's better options 2 seconds ago, now you're captaining David Silva.
I said better options than the City players I've got. KDB, for example, or Sterling, or Jesus. I don't know whether any are going to play. But David Silva sat out the last one. He could, I just think he's nearing the end of his career, and I know there's no crowd, but I think the last 2 home games are tailor-made for him. I think game week 38, this is why he's a good player to get in, because I can't believe he's not going to play in the last league game week 38. What happens if they get a penalty then? Will David Silva take it? Yeah, and there's all sorts of things. There's partly the romantic football fan in me, and you just want to... David Silva's just a player you want. So I do think that there is a danger there that Mahrez comes on in the last 30 minutes, scores a hat-trick, and David Silva does nothing. But I think David Silva is a really good option this week and looking at the minutes. So yeah, it's a long way of saying I don't know, but take a risk if you think so, and take a calculated risk. But for me, I think David Silva's good. I think he's good to play this one, and Foden, yeah, is probably will start this one, but is he good for the next 3? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I personally have gone off Foden a little bit. It doesn't seem to be being used as much as the rest, but that could change. I think with David Silva, you're absolutely right. It does seem like he's going to start. And I think he's probably got the legs to start the FA Cup if they need him as well. And then, perfect scenario, he gets rested for Watford away and then plays Norwich at home. And I agree, that's his last league game.
Oh, he's
There's
definitely
no way
playing that game.
I don't necessarily agree about the penalty, mostly because he just doesn't seem like a kind of ego-driven player that would care about whether he scores.
I think it's more the way the team treat him rather than the way he projects himself. They treat him understandably as this magical creature that they happen to have had all these years, but he's just David the bloke, isn't he? But I think I think they will hand it to him.
Yeah, no, they might do. Yeah, okay, I'll come to my thoughts in a sec because I want to hear Az tell us why Jesus is such a good option first. So, what's your thinking of Man City with all these questions we've had?
Sorry, then you're going to talk about Harry Kane, right, and how great he is again, yeah?
No. I got Jesus in instead.
Yeah, well, there's two different questions, isn't there? There's one around the perfect team for this week, bearing in mind they've got the FA Cup game coming up, and there's one about what do you do with your players going forward for the next 3. So going forward for the next 3, I think the best option is just to get in the 3 players from Man City who think are going to score the most points, which sounds really simple. I think those 3 players are De Bruyne, Sterling and Jesus. So they're the 3 that I'm going to get. And we've seen already that if one of them doesn't start, they're all sort of playing at least 30 minutes. Either they're playing 60 and coming off, or they're playing 30 off the bench. And all of those players are capable of scoring big in any minutes they play. So Sterling got 10 points the other week. He was only on the pitch for about 20, 25 minutes or something. And then when he started, he got 58 minutes and didn't do anything. So it's all a bit kind of up in the air. So I'm with how good the fixtures are for City, I'm perfectly happy to rock with those 3. They're a lot of money, but there's going to be some more big wins, I think, in those 3 games. When it comes to this week, though, I think Joe's spot on. I think David Silva looks really good pick because I think he's definitely going to play. I think Foden, I would be absolutely amazed if Foden didn't start this game. So if it's a straight up pick between De Bruyne and Foden this week, if I was free hitting, I'd go for Foden. Because I think he's definitely going to start. And if he does end up playing on the wing again, I mean, he could have had a massive haul the other week if it wasn't some really poor finishing. So, if he starts in that attacking position again, I think he could get some points. And I mean, realistically, one of Jesus or Sterling has to start because it's either going to be Sterling in the false 9 up front or it's going to be Andy's mate. So, I think, if it was me and I was free hitting, I would probably go with Sterling, Jesus, and Foden for this game. And the free hit is a possibility for me. You've got the security to start with Foden, which I'm pretty sure on, or you could have David Silva if you thought he was going to do well, and then you're kind of, spreading the risk around with those 2. And if they both start, fantastic. But pretty much certainty one of them will start, unless he does actually put Gundogan up front, which surely he's not going to do.
I can't believe that.
No.
De Bruyne has done it well. I think De Bruyne did it at Real Madrid, so there is a chance he could do it. But yeah, I agree. It's probably going to be Sterling or Jesus, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, on Jesus, I mean, he's not good. I stand by the fact that I don't think he is a top player. He is not a City level player. I know he's been having chances. I know but I mean, you could stick Chris Wood in the Man City team.
That's the point.
But that
we're
is the
playing
point.
FPL, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. That is the point. I think when you've got a player like Jesus, who is the only fit striker there, and the team are creating chances, and he's getting tap-ins, and I mean the 2 assists. I mean, oh my God! I mean, come on, a tap-in and those 2 assists and 13 points. I mean, it just shows though
14.
that. Yeah, it's the kind of player though that you want in your team. You want a player who gets jammy assists, gets tap-in goals, because they all count the same, as Andy said. So I have warmed to him as an FPL option, but I would be amazed if Pep actually thinks he's Aguero replacement level, because he's not good enough. I don't think.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, on Jesus, because a few people are still like Not sure about. I mean, the question about is it risky to bring him in? I mean, if you're worried about risk still, Man City, you're never going to bring him in. There is a risk they don't start. There's a risk they will. We just don't know. Like it's already been said by these two. So, if you're really worried about whether they start or not, you're never going to get a Man City player for this season or as long as Pep is at the team, at the club, pretty much. On Jesus specifically, like his minutes. He's only played 63 and 60 the last 2 league games. It was 90 before them. Then it was only 57. 35, 90 in the FA Cup, 45 against Burnley. So it's not like he's been flogged completely. So I think there is a chance that he starts again. And I looked up a few stats around him as well. This year, expected goal involvement for the whole season, if you take out strikers like Surridge at Bournemouth and Igalo at Man United, because they haven't played very much, the highest expected goal involvement, so that's expected assists or expected goals for the whole season, is Aguero. 1.01 for every 90 minutes he plays. So basically a return for every 90 minutes he plays. Second is Jesus, 0.9, because he plays for Man City. And his returns are just ridiculous.
Iheanacho had the same whenever he played for Man City. You know, he would come on off the bench.
Perfect example.
Basically, whoever plays up front for City will get points because it's City,
His minutes for returns in his whole City career is 59 minutes the first season, 83 the next, 101 last season, 88 this season. I just think there's nothing to dislike about him. So he would be on my list, free hitting or otherwise going forward. I like David Silva this week, just because I think you're pretty much guaranteed he starts. I think I'd go Sterling, Silva, and Jesus, but Foden's an option too. It's impossible to pick, isn't it? You think Foden's going to play, so he's probably going to play left or right, which means one of Sterling or Mahrez misses out. You know, you can frame it either way. You know, Sterling got his rest recently. Mahrez has played a few games in a row, but then Pep has said that both of them are fully fit, and kind of the fact that they've actually.
Sorry,
go on.
I was going to say the thing with Jesus as well is, I mean, if you think that he's their only fit striker, one of the reasons his minutes have been matched so much is probably to keep him safe for games like Arsenal and the Champions League coming back and things like that. So, yeah, it also adds a whole new dimension to, isn't it? Because if he gets injured and if he's out for the season, they're going to have to play with Gundogan up front or Sterling.
Yeah, but at the same time, Pep has said numerous times match rhythm is a thing, and so actually the players that have played the most might actually be more likely to get a start because they're more, you know, match fit, they've got match rhythm, whatever you say. They might go off after 50, 60 minutes, but by that point, Man City are 4-0 up. So it doesn't really matter. Just one last thing, because I know there's some other questions as well. Is it worth switching around Man City assets? So I'm still considering, I know it feels like I've missed the boat, but I'm still considering De Bruyne to Sterling simply because I'm chasing an ownership. Like top 10K ownership, De Bruyne is 97%. Like he's owned by virtually everyone in the top 10K. Sterling's only 17. Now, that's only up till Gameweek 35, so that will increase for this week. Jesus is only 7.29. David Silva's 0.44. So it's incredible. But what I will say is, last kind of note on Man City, Kevin De Bruyne, Jesus, and Mahrez have all been unlucky not to get more points in the last few weeks. Now, maybe unlucky is a bit too much with Jesus. He's got 22 points, but he could have had more. De Bruyne definitely could have had more, and so could Mahrez. So I just think you kind of pick 3 and stick with them. You could use chances on it, but there's only a few game weeks left. I think there's probably, for me, there's other moves I can make. All right.
You're just going to get burnt when you make a move and the player you bought out starts and the one you bought in is on the bench.
Unless you did De Bruyne to Sterling captain, which loads of people did this week. But it's just 1 week. But yeah, I think you can use your transfers to do that. But yeah, it's impossible to pick. Every time someone asks me who's going to start, I just shrug my shoulders. I do not know.
We don't know. And no one should blame anyone for saying, oh, but you said so-and-so would start. We don't know. No one knows, apart from Pep. And so, you know, you're just going to have to guess. This is the game you're playing with City. You're playing the game who's going to score the most, and you're playing the who's going to actually get on the pitch the most. And, you know, that's the game you're playing. It's an extra dimension to FPL that's been created through Pep Roulette. As you noted that you could free hit this week, and we do have a lot of questions about that really, because quite a few have got their free hit left. So yeah, Az, do you want to tell us a bit about that?